All right, let's jump right into one of the most powerful, most visual chapters in the entire Bible, Proverbs 9. Think of this as a short film, a story about a critical choice, a decision that every single one of us has to make.
So, to get started, I want you to picture your life as a bustling city, with streets, high places, marketplaces, the whole deal. And in this city, there are two very, very different voices calling out, both fighting for your attention. And this whole chapter really comes down to one big question. In the city of your life, whose voice are you actually following?
So, our story kicks off with the first voice and the incredible house that she's built. And listen, this isn't just any old house. It's a masterpiece of planning, strength, and real purpose.
Let's look at verse 1. Right out of the gate, wisdom is shown as this master builder, a true architect. I want you to picture this. She's not ordering a prefab kit. Oh no. She is out there herself, quarrying the stone, chiseling it with skill and intention. It's a powerful image, right? It tells us that every single part of her life is built on purpose, with strength.
Now, you might see that number 7 and think, what's the big deal? Well, in this culture, 7 is a huge deal. It represents perfection, completion, total stability. So when it says 7 pillars, don't just think of some wooden posts. Imagine these massive, ornate, totally unshakable stone pillars holding everything up. That's the foundation wisdom is offering, a life that is solid, complete, and can handle whatever comes its way.
Moving on to verse 2, we find out wisdom isn't just an architect. She's also an amazing host. She has prepared this incredible feast, and we're not talking about a couple of snacks here. Picture a massive banquet table, just loaded with roasted meats and rich, spiced wine being poured. Everything is perfectly in its place. This isn't about empty calories. It's about real, life-giving substance. Okay, so in verses 3 and 4, the invitation goes public. Wisdom sends her messengers to the highest points in the city, the places where a voice would carry the farthest. Imagine her call just echoing over all the rooftops and through the busy streets. And notice who she's calling to, the simple, the ones who feel lost or naive. She's not looking for the spiritual elite. She's looking for anyone who knows they need some direction.
And here it is, her direct pitch in verses 5 and 6. It sounds like an invitation to a meal, but it's so much more. It's an invitation to a brand new life. She says, forsake foolishness and live. The image here is of someone standing at a crossroads. One path is dark, it's shadowy, it's a total dead end. The other leads to wisdom's bright, welcoming doorway. She's saying, turn away from that path that leads nowhere and step into a life of real meaning.
But here's the thing. Just walking through the door isn't the end of the journey. It's actually the very beginning. See, Wisdom's house has some rules about how you grow, and it turns out not everyone who hears the truth responds in the same way.
So verses 7, 8, and 9 give us this incredibly sharp contrast. You've basically got two kinds of people. First, there's the scoffer. You try to offer them some correction, and they just lash out. Picture someone literally plugging their ears, their face all twisted up in anger, just shouting you down. But then you have the wise person. You offer them correction, they lean in, they listen. They nod, they soak it up because they genuinely want to grow. So the point is this, Wisdom's house is a place of learning, but you have to actually be willing to learn.
Verse 10 gives us the absolute bedrock for all of this. It's like the central pillar holding up the whole house. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Now that word fear can sound a little scary, right? But this isn't about being terrified of God. It's about this deep, profound sense of awe and respect. Imagine a light switch flipping on in a dark room. Suddenly, everything is flooded with light, and you can see with a clarity you've never had before. That's what this kind of fear does. It brings true understanding.
So what's the payoff for all this wisdom? Well, verse 11 lays it out pretty clearly. For by me your days will be multiplied, and years of life will be added to you. Think about a timeline of a person's life. The one lived with wisdom isn't just longer, it's richer, it's fuller, it's stretched out and filled with vibrant color and meaningful moments. It's about adding more life to your years, not just years to your life. Then, verse 12 turns the camera right around and points it directly at you. It makes this whole thing intensely personal. If you are wise for yourself. And if you scoff, you will bear it alone. This is just a powerful image of personal responsibility. It's like a person standing in front of two mirrors. In one mirror, they see a fulfilled, wise, serene person looking back. In the other, they see someone bitter and totally alone with their choices. The choice and the consequence is yours and yours alone.
But just as wisdom's call starts to fade, another voice starts to rise up, and the tone shifts dramatically. This is the loud, lazy, and totally deceptive call of the other main character in our story, Lady Folly.
Verses 13, 14, and 15 paint a picture that could not be more different from wisdom. Folly is clamorous, which just means she's loud and obnoxious, and she knows nothing. But the biggest difference? Unlike wisdom, who actively built a house and prepared this amazing feast, Folly, she just sits. Can you picture it? She's just lounging on a rickety porch right by the road, lazily shouting at people who are already trying to go somewhere. She creates nothing. She only distracts.
Now, you gotta listen closely to her call in verse 16. She uses the exact same opening line that wisdom did. It's a cheap imitation, a counterfeit invitation. She's going after the same vulnerable people, but her motive is the complete opposite. It's a trap, and it's disguised as an offer of help.
And verse 17 reveals her menu. And the contrast is just wow, it's shocking. Wisdom offered a prepared, substantial, life-giving feast. Folly offers stolen water and bread eaten in secret. Imagine her leaning in, whispering, offering a cup of cloudy water and a stale crust of bread. The appeal isn't the quality, obviously. It's the cheap thrill of something forbidden, something secret. It's empty, and it's so, so dangerous. So, what is actually inside Folly's house? I mean, she sits at the door making all this noise, but we haven't seen past the threshold. The story has been building and building to this final, chilling reveal. And here we go, the first half of verse 18. The person who falls for her cheap offer steps inside. Picture their face. At first, they're intrigued, maybe a little excited. And then their expression just drops in pure shock and horror as their eyes adjust to the dark and they see what's really in there. He doesn't know, but he's about to find out.
And that's it. The final, horrifying truth. Her house is not a home. It is a tomb. Her guests aren't feasting. They are ghosts. The final image is that door to Folly's house just slamming shut, and the whole scene plunges into total darkness. Her promise of a fun secret snack leads straight to death.
So that's the story. Proverbs 9. 2 houses, 2 invitations, and 2 completely different endings. One is built on a solid rock foundation and leads to a full, meaningful life. The other is just a flimsy facade that leads straight to destruction. And now, the story turns to you. In the city of your life, you've heard both calls. Which path will you walk?